Good evening. I'm Chuck Hucklebuck. This is WFUK News, Rumors, and Results from the EFED community and McKamey Manor from Nashville, Tennessee for Massacre and Eclipse results. We're going to break into a little bit of news and rumors first. Where do I start? Dan Ness, Tim Lachinger, and Ronnie James all decided to leave IW just a few days ago to start their own organization that is known as CWF already, but call it United Wrestling. Less than a day later, Ronnie James goes back to David Jones and asks him back into CWF so that he turns his back on Tim and Dan. Ronnie and David are a thing again. Less than a day later, Dan Ness turns his back on Tim Lachinger, leaving him all alone to be united. Then, Ronnie James, just today, last night, leaves David Jones to be whatever the fuck it is that he has chosen to be, to prove his love to a specific lady that we won't be mentioning at this time. However, that specific lady is very much attached to the Macho Huck's dick, so try harder. In other news, Matt Minnick visited Florida, Fort Myers, for the House of Wolves show. He had a pleasant experience, but it turned out that it wasn't quite as good as the Macho Hucks and Happies, and Johnny Christ left him at the Real Pro show afterwards with no rod. And welcome back. As mentioned before, we were live at McKamey Manor in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, this is supposed to be a haunted house, ladies and gentlemen, where you could have to sign a waiver. You have to be put on a waiting list to be tortured. Now, I don't know how many of you out there, but we've been mentioning Ronnie James, and, you know, he's one of those types of people that eats cereal with a fork, farts in the bathtub. You get what I'm saying. He's just not ticking all the way. So who in the hell in their right mind goes to this place and gets tortured for free, eats bugs, gets shit slapped at him, sawed on, a real Zach Monster experience. Nonetheless, that's where we were. There were no beer. Hell, they wouldn't even hardly give us any water. They tried to kill everybody. The Macho Huck opened up against Ethan, Jason, Carnage Sanders. We have learned in a development that Ethan Carnage is here in XWE to put XWE out of business, so it seems. The Macho Huck, of course, stands by his brand and is standing in trying to get unification. He's trying to unite the people. I love how all this is working out. He's trying to unite the people against Mr. Carnage. There's more to be obviously developed in this situation. A match has not been determined quite yet, but when it does, we'll be first to let you know. We officially opened up Massacre with Draven Frost demanding to get his rematch against Zach Monster. Well, the Ghost, Phantasma, and Masquerado. Does he even do the Masquerado thing anymore? I think it's kind of like the WWE where he only uses one name and it's just Phantasma. He dropped it. It doesn't matter. He confronted Draven Frost and said, hey, you want that redemption against the monster? Then you will have to walk through the Ghost. You have to go through hell to get to heaven. Anyway, moving along. In a debut match, our first match to kick off Massacre, it was the Gut taking on Brother Moses, and in what was an entertaining match, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the Gut is always fucking hilarious, but he has to lose. You can't win. You're the Gut. You're here to job to our new people. Brother Moses picks up the victory, but still entertaining match. If you haven't watched if you haven't watched the match, go check that out. Peep that out. Next, it's the former television champion. He's returned. It is Shayta taking on the Nameless. The Nameless did appear, but the Nameless, proving his name Worthy once again being not much besides nameless, very lackluster. Sheta'a picks up the victory, quite an easy victory. Hopefully soon the nameless will get his act together and at least find some type of worthy enough name for himself. Next, it was one that was trying to sell, and the other is trying to sell the fact that he is no longer a jobber, but he is indeed average enough. But he wants to become pro. It was Average Joe taking on the salesman, and the salesman was just a bit late with the sale as Average Joe picks up the victory. Next, we seen Georgia Wildfire interviewing Dangerous Danny Day, the new women's champion of XWE, and what was just amazing. And whoever does the work behind that and the editing behind all of that is just they've got my approval. Isn't that right? Next, it was the Rojo Lobo has lost that women's championship. She was facing off with Daniel Saint, and an amazing turn. Daniel Saint picks up his first victory by way of DQ as Adam Hawkins decided to stick his nose into the business again. Right after that, we seen Rojo Lobo head to the back in tears, ladies and gentlemen. Tears. She broke down crying. She lost her mind. She left the arena, walked out into the dark. The Mancho Hut gave chase to say, no, come back. If you're going where I think you're going, you don't need to go there, because that place is a fucking wreck. She turns around. She draws an X on her face. She lets her hair down. She rakes herself and draws blood and says, that's no longer my name. And that's where we closed out Massacre. More to come. Next, we opened up Eclipse with Zach Monstar, who all he had to say was, fuck Jason Sanders. And then he raised the title and walked out. Mr. Steven Summit's Johnny Rockstar gave chase. He tried to put up his Sesame Street World Championship against Zach Monster. Zach Monster did not acknowledge him in any way, at size, shape, or form, and fuck can we blame him? Steven Summit needs to be focusing on Captain Planet come Devil's Night. Next, in our opening match, Angel, whose blood was not shed at Conspiracy, looks for revenge to shed blood of her own, or will she suffer yet again? Will she be led to the blind? I love these metaphors. I love them. I fucking love it. Angel McClain does pick up the victory over Michael Shaw, the Hitman. Michael Shaw yet again came so close, but got so far. And in the end, we probably should end that right there, because that we all know how that turned out. Yeah, no. Next, it was the Reaper. He chose not to face his brothers in the LOD, Johnny Newhaven. But will he face a sister? A sister who is ready to fight, all on TOPW, but she came to Massacre and Eclipse this week. It was Hella Undead versus the Reaper, and the Reaper tried to mimic everything that Hella Undead did. Some would call it a rebuttal, and we will give Hella Undead this victory. However, the Reaper still knows that he has that rematch at the X Division champion. You can't mimic people. Next, the match for Devil's Night is set between DLG and the Dirty Dutch, but if the Dutch wants his way for Devil's Night, he will have to face the COP one by one. And first, it started out with the IC champion, and no, I don't mean the Intercontinental champion. I mean the ICEE champion. That wasn't a good look. Sorry. It was Ronnie Saxon taking on the Dirty Dutch, and the Dirty Dutch did indeed pick up the victory over Ronnie Saxon. Ronnie Saxon made a vow and a promise that his long-lost brother will return. I miss Sonny. I do. The Morgue Man gets an open mic, and he did indeed. He tore it down. He addressed what he called the Triple M, who walked out on XWE, who walked out on Phantasma, who walked out, made a mistake, I'm guessing. Triple M did come and counter the Morgue Man. Soon we will be having the contract signing between Triple M and the Morgue Man for Devil's Night. And in our main event for Eclipse, it was Mary J taking on Johnny Christ Baby. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know how perfect this match should be, let me tell you, because you got Mary J, who is one of the most upstanding females, independent women. And then you got Johnny Christ Baby, that just ain't for all that bullshit right there, if you know what I'm saying. Y'all seen his lives on Facebook. Come the fuck on, seriously. Anyway, what turned out into a brawl led all the way to the hotel room somehow. And as Mary lay there on her back, awaiting, and Johnny Christ whipped off his belt and got ready to lay down the bricks, the tiles, the flooring, the dick. Mary Jane almost gagged, and Swift kicked at him right in the balls and said, "Not today, not today," and walked out on Johnny Christ. There is no winner that has been declared. However, this will continue, and this match will, now determined by the Mancho Hook, happen at Devil's Night, and it will be a unification match between the Bloodlust Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, and the winner will take all. I've been Chuck Hucklebuck. This is WFUK, News, Rumors, and Results from McKamey Manor. And I leave you with this.
Yeah, we gave him hell. To be hide behind skyscrapers. There's a